Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard brew. Today, Secrets of Strixhaven, officially out on Arena. Super excited, my beloved Sultai Deserts, I think gets a lot of upgrades with this set. I'm going to be bringing this into a best of 3 standard event. I'm going to start by explaining some of the new additions that this list gets from SoS, and then go over the deck as a whole. For those that haven't seen my Desert videos before, this isn't my first time, so if you like this video, go back in the catalog, see the other previous Sultai Deserts lists. There are a lot that you can do with this. First and foremost, we get Witherbloom Charm. Super flexible piece of interaction. Gaining 5 life is quite a lot in a meta that's pretty laden with effects like Burst Lightning and Lightning Helix. Also just generally good against aggro / prowess. If you need to gain a little extra life to give yourself that cushion. Destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. I mean, that hits like so many important targets in the format. Plus, it has this benefit of you may sacrifice a permanent if you do draw 2 cards. So if your opponent goes to remove one of your creatures, you can instead say, actually, I'm going to make this basically kind of a 2-for-1 in my favor instead, by sacrificing that creature with Witherbloom Charm, drawing 2 cards. We also get Withering Curse. Now, for the most part, in this deck, this is a 3 mana, all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. But we actually have a lot of ways to gain life to turn on that destroy all creatures mode of Withering Curse. We're on a playset of Esper Origins, 2 Witherbloom Charm, 4 Requiting Hex gains life, Professor Delian Fey from the new set, as well as cycling our Spinewoods Armadillos. Pay 2 mana, discard it, search your library for a basic land or desert, put it in your hand, gain 3 life. So it's really not going to be that difficult if we plan ahead to consistently get that full board wipe effect from this card. But otherwise, I think this is the direct comparison for me is I was previously on Day of Black Sun, and this at baseline I think hits a lot more. It costs 4 total mana for Day of Black Sun to kill Slickshot Show Off. This costs 3. That's basically the main difference, right? 4 total mana to kill Admiral Cub with Day of Black Sun. This costs 3. By that metric alone, I think that's main deckable. And then outside of those situations, if we need to gain the life, we can plan ahead and then turn this essentially into a 5 mana board wipe, spending 2 mana on an Esper Origins or 2 mana to cycle the Armadillo, so on and so forth. Okay, we also get Professor Delian Fey. Just playing a 1 of in the main today. 4 mana Planeswalker. Starts at 5 loyalty, which is quite a lot. +2, gain 3 life. 0, draw a card and lose 1 life. -3, destroy target creature. And then -6, you get an emblem with whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. The emblem could be relevant, but for the most part, picture this as like a Ravenous Chupacabra that enters, and instead of leaving behind a 2/2 body, it leaves behind a 2 loyalty Planeswalker that threatens to draw cards every turn afterward, right? Also, just being able to play this against aggro decks and roll it up to 7 loyalty, gaining 3 life every turn is kind of nuts. Like, if they don't deal with it, it's just going to bury your opponent in life gain, essentially. Super flexible. I think it has a place in pretty much every matchup. Might consider playing 2 in the main eventually, just starting out with 1 here today. And then we also get a couple Vicious Rivalry. Pretty much replacing the deadly cover-ups that I had in the previous iterations. 4 mana as an additional cost to cast this spell, pay X life, destroy all artifacts and creatures with mana value X or less. So the fact that this comes down a turn sooner is a huge deal. Against Ouroboros lists, landfall, so on and so forth. Plus, it actually has this sneaky effect where it's you can choose X = 2, right, to kill all of your opponent's Slickshot Show-Offs and Otter tokens, while keeping your Outcaster Greenblade and Freestrider Lookout alive. So it's a little better across more matchups, I think. Plus, it hits artifacts, giving us a great main deck way to deal with the random United Battlefront, Jeskai artifact lists that pop up every now and then. Otherwise, just playing a couple extra Vicious Rivalry in the side, and that's all for the new Secrets of Strixhaven cards. So if you've seen these videos before, you can fast forward into matches. I'm going to give a brief explanation for Deserts as a whole for the new people here. Why Deserts? Why Sultai Deserts? First off, we're on 26 lands, quite a heavy land count, more leaning control than anything, maybe mid-range because we're pretty creature heavy. And we're playing these weird non-basic lands from Outlaws of Thunderjunction that enter and deal 1 damage to target opponent. They enter tapped, right? But they're dual lands, so they're a good source of colored mana. We also have Conduit Pylons, which is it taps for colorless at base, can filter into other colors, and when it enters Surveil 1. We also have a Sandstorm Verge. So out of our mana base here, it's like something like 17, 18 deserts, right? So we want to get deserts on the field for 2 reasons. First off, Outcaster Greenblade is a big deal. It's a 3 mana 1/2. Enter, search your library for a basic land card or a desert card. Reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. And it gets 1/1 for each desert you control. This thing gets huge really quickly. It's not uncommon to see it be like a 4/5 on turn 3 and then scale an extra power and toughness every turn thereafter. Expect this to be hitting your opponent for 6 damage, 7 damage, 8 damage, so on and so forth in the late game. The really important piece about this is it is a Tarmogoyf-like creature that scales for very little effort. We can spend say we get 6 lands in the late game. We get to play our huge threat and hold up mana for interaction, counterspells from the sideboard, or instant speed removal from the main. The other big deal for the deck is Free Strider Lookout, a 3 mana 3/3 reach. Whenever you commit a crime, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So basically, you go turn 4, Free Strider Lookout, and then play a land drop, namely one of the ping lands specifically, because they enter and target your opponent. That's what committing a crime is. And so you get essentially immediate ramp off of that interaction, threatening to continue to ramp in the future. And this works once each turn, including your opponent's turn, so you can use instant speed removal to generate land drops, getting us into a position where we can make multiple plays in 1 turn in the future. It gets out of hand really quickly, unanswered. Hopefully I'll be able to show that off a little bit in this video. Otherwise, that's the whole deserts thing, right? Otherwise, it's a big mid-rangey, control-y, somewhere in their pile, full of instant speed interaction, value cards, and a pretty big flexible top end. So we're on like Meringue River Regents, which enter as a 6/7 flyer, bounce 2 things, or we can coil and catch if we just need card advantage, right? Spinewood's Armadillo. Sometimes you cast this as a 6 mana 7/7 with reach ward 3. Otherwise, we get to the flexibility of like guaranteeing we hit our land drops and gaining some life. And a big old Bonnie Paul, of course, in the top end, just for the hell of it. That's pretty much the list. One of Oko the Ringleader, maybe he'll come up. I think this is actually a pretty solid card to include here. As for the sideboard, so we're mostly sort of Golgari in the main, right? But the big deal about being Sultai is we get access to like instant speed, like we get counterspells in the sideboard, basically. Disdainful Stroke, I think, is a huge deal for this list. A couple Spell Snares, some Graveyard Hate and Ghost Vacuum, and Cease Desist. And then a little more like proactive stuff going on for the like interactive matchups that we might run into. A couple of Surax, an extra Oko, Unagi of Kyoshi Island, and a Deceit when we just need a Deceit, I guess. It's I've had it as a one of, and it's just stuck around. It comes up sometimes. It's not that bad. Okay, well, that's the list. Super fun list. Probably my favorite right now. Excited to get into it, an event here. Hopefully we can pull out a 5-0. That'd be pretty sweet. All right, starting out on the play. Got to mulligan this. 1-landers are no good. 1-landers are no good. This is pretty decent for a Mold of 5 here. We have an Esper Origins to help set us up, and Maelstrom Pulse kind of answers anything here. Let's go ahead, keep double desert. I think double black is a little more important than double green or double blue here. So we can cast our Withering Curse. Is that what it's called? The new 3-drop board wipe. I think this looks pretty good. Well, let's go ahead and lead on a Festering Gulch. And then I can choose whether or not I want to Conduit Pylons Esper Origins next turn, or just play a Soured Springs. Okay, we draw a Blooming Marsh, which is pretty good here. Let's go ahead. Let's go for the Blooming Marsh Esper Origins move. Skip on both of these. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves. Let's try to dig into a board wipe here. For those that don't know, I'm qualified for a couple RCs next month. Regional championships. I'm planning on, I said it in a previous video about a month ago maybe, that I'm bringing Deserts to an RC, right? And currently, wow, we get to kind of range my opponent here with a little mouse repulse. Currently, I'm heavily leaning towards something like Sultai Deserts. I think this list is actually, something like this is a very strong contender. I don't, obviously the new set just came out, so whatever current meta we're existing in, it might shift a little bit, it might shift a lot. No one really knows how SoS is going to impact standard, right? People say like maybe there aren't too many high impact cards, but who knows? Maybe like the Golgari midrange stuff is going to be good enough to sort of keep people shied away from being on as much Izzet as they have been lately. Who can say? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the Izzet decks are going to stick around, but we drew a Professor Delian Fey, which is kind of a big deal. I think I'm going to go for this. Just by the nature of it lets me do crimes, and I get to take their mutagen man off the field. I think all of that's pretty good. Feels like I'm winning the game where I get that, as I described at the top, Ravenous Chupacabra situation. I just play the Delian Fey, enters, and now it's just threatening to draw me cards every turn. Great. I think I'm just going to keep them off of the Ice Till Explorer. I have a pretty good idea of what my opponent's doing here. Some kind of obsessive pursuit list. Well, I get to bury my opponent in card advantage now, guaranteeing I hit extra land drops every turn, basically. Hold up this Witherbloom Charm if they find some kind of removal for my Lookout or my Delian Fey. Sacrifice a permanent means in a late game scenario, you can just sacrifice a land, which is a pretty big deal. Like, this just says basically draw 2 cards for 2 mana, like against control late game, right? Opponent has an Espermado in here. They're leaving a Bitter Triumph on top to be able to answer my Delian Fey, probably. Let's just go ahead and destroy their Espermadoin, trigger our Free Strider Lookout. Let's grab a Conduit Pylons for Surveils. Try to set up our next draw here. We'll skip on a Restless Cottage for now. Draw another Free Strider Lookout. Okay. Let's roll up the Delian Fey. And by roll up, I mean 0 the Delian Fey. Kind of playing nice already. Excited for this card. I think it's a big deal for this list. I think of like, in terms of playable Planeswalkers in Standard, just being able to, for 4 mana, straight up kill a creature is a very, very like nice bar to pass, right? You're basically always going to, at the very least, 1-for-1 with this card. There's no situation unless you play it and you roll it up. You're almost always going to 2-for-1 with it, actually, right? Which I think is a pretty big deal. Go ahead and cast this Esper Origins. We'll just set up a Green Blade on top, and we're super far ahead. I don't think there's any way our opponent's going to be able to recover from this position. They do find another Ice Till with lands in the graveyard. Okay. There's the Obsessive Pursuit. Pretty sweet art. The one scenario where you like 1-for-1 with this is you play it, you roll it up, and then your opponent just like Bitter Triumphs it, I guess. But you can pretty well avoid that scenario if you just intend to 0 every turn, basically. So my opponent's actually dead here. In Deserts, we have a special one of Utility Desert, Sandstorm Verge, which we can find off of our Outcaster Green Blades. 11-12, by the way, pretty huge for 3 mana. Play the Sandstorm Verge. It says 3 mana to activate. Target creature can't block this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So, bada bing, bada boom. Oh, by the way, that's another crime for the Free Strider Lookout. Playing against the Ice Till deck, yet we are the ones with 10,000 lands on the field. Go ahead and kill our opponent. That's pretty much the list, folks. That's the idea. Play these efficient creatures. Remove everything my opponent ever loved. and grind them out with our Esper Origins. The nice thing about Esper Origins in this list too is we don't have any other things that care about our graveyard. So if our opponent wants to bring in Rest in Peace, that's fine. Yes, it's going to shut down the Esper Origins, but it doesn't shut down anything else that we do. Pretty good running for us there. Up against the Obsessive Pursuit list, I mean, Witherbloom Charm is kind of a huge deal against those lists. Requiting Hex, maybe not so important here. Although they could be on something like Super Shredder. Does kill the Esper Origins. Maybe we bring in the Spell Snares here. Maybe go down the Withering Curses. Up the Vicious Rivalries. Vicious Rivalry seems a little more flexible, and it hits all of their like clue tokens and stuff. Mutagen tokens. Yeah, that's kind of nasty, actually. Kind of nasty for this matchup. Let's go ahead and go down. Yeah, maybe we don't need a full set of Requiting Hex here. Go ahead and go down Bonnie. Maybe we don't need Bonnie to win. I think we stand a pretty good shot in this matchup here. All right, on the draw, game 2. This hand's okay. It's not bad. I think I'm going to keep it. I think Vicious Rivalry is a pretty big deal for this matchup. We're guaranteed to hit our 3rd land drop, which means we're guaranteed to hit our 4th land drop, and well, in this case, 5th land drop. So we're feeling pretty good as far as mana is concerned. The Spell Snare is going to sit here for a little while, but I think I like Maelstrom Pulse in this matchup, just being able to answer anything that they play in the next following turns here. There's Badgermole Cub. Okay, we draw another Vicious Rivalry, which is a pretty big deal. See if our opponent goes crazy here. Could just jam a turn 3 Ice Till and start popping off. Gold Vein Hydra. And they're stuck on mana a little bit here. Draw an island to be able to hold up a future Spell Snare. I think I'm going to go Blooming Marsh, and I think I'm just going to Maelstrom Pulse the Badgermole Cub here. It keeps them off of additional mana. Sets them back to 2, basically. Keeps them from being able to play an Ice Till next turn if they do find their land drop here. Obsessive Pursuit. Okay. Drawn to a Conduit Pylons. I think I'm going to go Island Greenblade. I don't know that I feel that compelled to wipe the board quite yet. The nice thing is I get to do Vicious Rivalry for X equals 1. So only spend 1 life and kill this Clue, Hydra, and Swamp. But it'll give them treasures, which I don't necessarily love. At the same time, it's going to kind of force them to use the treasures on spending, like casting cards, rather than triggering their Obsessive Pursuit with it. With the treasures. So, yeah, maybe I just wipe the board here. Seems okay. I mean, the fact that I have another one really helps. I might not do that if I didn't have another one in hand. But now this might incentivize my opponent, or trick my opponent, perhaps, into investing quite heavily into the board this turn. Trick is maybe not the right word. Esper Origins. Okay. Mills over an Obsessive Pursuit. Passes. Just trying to hit lands, huh? Okay, well, let's go for a Greenblade. Pretty shrimpy right now. Typically, we don't see a Greenblade this shrimpy this late in the game. Not a huge deal, though. It'll attack as a 3/4 next turn. We can grab Conduit Pylons to help set up our future draws. Pretty land heavy right now, but a couple of good cards in hand. We can Spell Snare their Esper Origins next turn, which is a pretty big deal. See if they go for that. Ice Till. Okay. That is Nice Till. It's popping off. But I think I can pretty freely, like, pay 4 life into this Vicious Rivalry and not worry about it too much. This is a very on-the-board matchup. They are kind of going crazy here. Okay. They're a little more graveyard heavy than maybe I first thought. Next, if we see game 3, I'll definitely bring in more graveyard hate. Definitely just have to wipe this board. They pop a clue. Okay, that makes sense. Play a Restless Cottage here. Pass it back. They're kind of hurting themselves every turn here with the Obsessive Pursuit. They might just pass and hold up the Scouring Storm Soul. They just go for the Scouring Storm Soul now. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Play around Detect Intrusion. We draw a Lush Oasis. Let's go for the Pylons. I'm going to double Esper Origins here and continue to hold up this Spell Snare. Ooh, we get to surveil an extra Esper Origins into the graveyard. I think I'm okay with drawing this Freeze Strider Lookout. At the very least, it's real material. The Outcaster Greenblades may be a little better. I mean, I guess I'm going to get them both anyway. Totally fine with that. The Storm Soul is big and scary. It might just kill me. Esper Origins Part 1. Kind of surprised they're going for this when they already have 2 in the graveyard here. Requiting Hex. Okay. Flashing back in Esper Origins. We'll get him with the Spell Snare here. Gonna take 7. Not in love with that. Let's go with our own Esper Origins, and then and probably go for the Green Blade if I had to guess. Do we care about the Witherbloom Charm? It can kill the Obsessive Pursuit. If they spend their whole next turn just sacrificing clues, they can gain a bunch of life, which is a little annoying. I think I'm actually just going to skip on both of these. I don't think these matter that much. Another Witherbloom Charm on top. Okay. I don't actually think I want to draw that, so I'm going to go Freeze Strider Lookout and play this Lush Oasis to trigger the Lookout and therefore filter away the Witherbloom Charm. I think that's okay. I don't know that the Witherbloom Charm does much of anything other than maybe I do like a chump and sack kind of passing turn. Yeah, I don't have great answers for the Storm Soul here. Not a whole lot of exile in the deck. Outside of being able to like snipe it out of the graveyard. Mutagen Man, Living Ooze. They get to sacrifice 1,000,000 permanents, make a very, very big Storm Soul if they want. Gain a bunch of life. I don't lose to that, but it does make it harder to put pedal to the metal here. Do have to chump. Let's give up the Esper Moduin. Gonna die eventually anyway. I do have this Restless Cottage to be able to attack with and exile the Storm Soul, so if I like draw into a piece of removal, I can go for something like that. Fire up the Green Blade. Pretty big. Not quite as big as their Storm Soul here. I think I'm going to grab a Conduit Pile. It probably doesn't super matter. Let's just grab a Crime Land here. Plan to keep the Lookout around. I can start chumping with these Restless Cottages. Which is not nothing. Eventually, they're going to be able to access Trample on the Storm Soul via the 3rd chapter of Esper Origins. They also have Trample on the Mutagen Man here. Yeah, okay, I'm probably dead to that. I'm probably dead to that. Okay. Yeah, Scouring Storm Soul is going to be a big deal. Let's bring in the Ghost Vacuum and the Ceases here. We can definitely beat it. It is just going to be kind of a big deal. Maybe we don't need the Requiting Hexes really at all. Maybe the Withering Curses would just be generically better. They'd take a little more effort, but they'd actually be able to answer things like the Storm Soul and an Ice Till Explorer. Although Hex kills the Esper Origins. A lot of options here. Unagi's probably pretty good, actually. Especially on the play, too. They have a lot of clues to sacrifice. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. It's going to be something like this. I think I like the river region. I like the armadillos. And maybe we just go to one armadillo. Since we took out the withering curses, maybe that's okay. And I think our planeswalkers actually look pretty decent here. Maybe we go down one vicious rivalry on the play here. Try to just keep a little more proactive hand. On the play. Game 3. Got to mulligan this. Okay. Great hand. Good mix of everything going on. What do we put back? We kind of want everything. They're not that... I know they're like doing elf/Badgermole Cub stuff, but they're not... maybe that element of their game plan isn't that important overall to us. Maybe we just skip on the Esper Origins here. Lead on this Soured Springs. In case we draw like a Requiting Hex. There's the Esper Origins. Okay, go for the Lush Oasis. We'll just go for a turn 3 Green Blade into Free Strider Lookout, open up our mana, and go from there. Esper Origins of their own. Witherbloom Charm. We get to draw a free Esper Origins off of our Conduit Pylons. Is absolutely ginormous. Play our turn 3, 4, 5. Grab a Festering Gulch here. And then we get to go turn 4, Free Strider Lookout plus Crime. It's all running pretty much exactly how we want it this game. Opponent on a relatively slow start. Badgermole Cub. Maybe too little too late. We draw into Delian Fae. Let's just go for the Lookout. Try to maximize our synergies here. Just get as proactive as possible. Pedal to the metal. Swing with a 6/7 on turn 4. They chump with the Cub. Desperate position. Desperate indeed. Shock in an Overgrown Tomb. 4 mana available. The end on Outcaster Greenblade. We don't care about that much, though. They're gone forever, but they're tapped out. So we kind of feels like I have an opportunity here. I could just like play the Delian Fae and ramp by killing their Bossing Say. I think I could just Bitter Triumph the Bossing Say for ramp. Maybe I just go for the Esper Origins here. Cross my fingers that I draw like an untapped land off of this. And we'll take a land. Let's leave the river region on top. Just want to hit my land drops here. In a much better position next turn to be able to double spell. Especially with the extra mana off of Esper Modern. Requiting Hex. Yeah, I think they're kind of toast, though. Ice Till. Do they have a land in the graveyard? No. Okay, so I get to Delian Fae them out of the game. Feel pretty good about that. Trigger the Crime. Hit a Lush Oasis off of the Free Strider Lookout here. Swing in for 3. And then I get to hold up instant speed interaction. Esper Origins. Yeah, we don't care about this. I get to Bitter Triumph, discarding my Esper Origins to set it up for next turn. Pretty good game for us here. I love this deck, man. I've seen a lot of people try to make Sultai like control / midrange work. But never anyone else on the deserts grind. Other than the people that have now adopted it. Shout out to all the homies in the Discord. Sharing their twists and spins and takes on the deserts lists. Super fun. It's been fun that it's sort of turned into a collaborative process, surprisingly. I never expected that. Like, this is just a deck that I loved grinding with on the ladder a year ago, right? Before I even started recording videos. And then when I started this YouTube thing, the deserts, people kind of like the deserts videos. It just kind of took off. So if you're interested in joining the Discord, it's a super fun spot. People just sharing their sort of off-meta lists and like F&M experiences and just, you know, chill vibes, chatting about Magic, discussing spoilers, so on and so forth. Been a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and leave a spell snare on top. I don't think I can lose from this position. Super, super far ahead on actions that I'm able to take every turn, basically. I get to hold up this coil and catch. I get to block their bossing say. I get to interact with their graveyard with Cease. They cast an Ice Till Explorer. They don't have any lands in the graveyard. And I think this is going to be all she wrote. They go for a Requiting Hex, blighting 1 onto the bossing say to gain a little life. Might as well Witherbloom Charm here. Give up the Espermadoin. Draw a couple of cards. Okay. Oh, I could, one small thing that I just missed, and I don't think it's going to matter in the long run. I could have exiled the bossing say out of their graveyard to keep it from returning. It also would have let me, like, trigger my crimes on the Freestrider Lookout. I don't think it'll super matter here. I am going to rip this anyway, just to, if I hit, like, a ping desert, I can kill my opponent next turn. No ping desert, but we do hit a Restless Cottage, so they are dead, I believe. The thing about Freestrider Lookout, you'll eventually hit a Restless Cottage and have enough mana to activate your Sandstorm Verge as well. So we activate the Sandstorm Verge, hit another ping land, and play a ping land from my hand. So they're dead 2 ways here. I can just hit them with the Freestrider, but let's fire up the Restless Cottage. Okay. Nice match. Nice match. Love to see it. 1-0. Off to the races here. Super grindy, super fun. On to the next one. Match 2 on the play. This is okay. Not great. We're going to need a little luck getting our third colored source, basically, is what we need. Or second colored source, third land drop. But once we hit it, depending on this what the matchup is, right? This hand could look quite good. Okay. It should look pretty good against Prowess, if that's what this is. And we do hit a third land. Not a colored source, unfortunately. Skip on a Bitter Triumph here. Worst comes to worst, though, we can start casting our spells by filtering mana through our Conduit Pylons. Boomerang Basics. Onto the Storm Chaser's Talon. With the Withering Curse in hand, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You know, in the situation where it's just otters on the field, Dave Blacksun is a better card, but I think also being able to manage Cubs and Show-Offs a little more efficiently is pretty important. Let's just go ahead and hex this otter, though. No guarantee that we're going to have double black anytime soon. Save ourselves a little life. Drawn to an Esper Origins is pretty nice. I think I'm going to skip on the... No, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to leave the Delian Fae in the deck. I'm going to draw into this Spinewoods Armadillo and plan to cycle it to hit my next land drop. And that'll shuffle the Delian Fae away. So I don't have to throw it away necessarily. It's still a good top deck eventually, probably. Boomerang Basics. Doing the thing. Still not sure if this is Prowess or Lessons. Okay, looks like it's officially Prowess. So let's cycle this Armadillo. Let's just grab a Swamp. We don't need to get cute here. We'll have untapped black mana to be able to Bitter Triumph if we need to. Can also just grab Basics. Doesn't have to grab a Desert. Flickshot Show-Off. On the field. Storm Chaser's Talent. On the field. See how big they decide to go here. Burst Lightning to the face. To the dome. I'm going to attempt a Bitter Triumph on this Show-Off. They could maybe blow me out here. But I think avoiding this damage up front is a pretty good idea, if I can. And I do. Let's go to 18. Flow State. Okay. New card from Strixhaven. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest onto the bottom of your library in any order. If there is an instant card and a sorcery card in your graveyard, instead put 2 of them in your hand. Seems okay. Let's play our Esper Origins here from the graveyard. I think I'm going to skip on these and try to high roll into a land. I know the Armadillo can be a land. I think I'd rather have a true blue land here. Although maybe that's a little greedy. The Armadillo also just gains life. Could be worse, right? Not that gaining life is like a way to win against this Prowess deck, right? It's actually just very good long-term at like generating cards every turn and having longevity with Storm Chaser's talent. But it does keep you from just dying in one turn, right? Gives you a little bit of protection, a little buffer. Into the Floodmaw on my Esper Moduin, okay. Bitter Triumph. Well, I think I'm just going to go for the exact same turn as I did basically 2 turns ago. Cycle the Armadillo here. Let's get a green-blue source in the Lush Oasis. And now that we drew this Bitter Triumph, we can just hold that up. Plan to discard this Esper Origins. Getting close to this Withering Curse being kind of good. Double Slickshot show off. Okay. Sleight of Hand. Gonna be kind of a scary attack here. Let this all resolve, I think. Willow Rush Verge. See what else they have. Flow State. Yuck. Wow. Let's go for the Bitter Triumph right now, actually. Save myself a little bit of life this turn. I am going to end up casting this Withering Curse next turn, almost certainly. But if I can elect to save a little bit of life here, I think that'll help my odds long term. They are drawing cards. Let's give the let's give the best archetype in the format even better card advantage. Okay, down to 2. No, not dead. Hit him with the Withering Curse. Hit him with the Esper Origins. Gain a little shield here. Do we want this Bitter Triumph? I don't think so. Let's skip on both of these. We have decent interaction in hand with the Witherbloom Charm already. I need something proactive to do. Stock up. They could just kick a Burst Lightning. Vibrant Outburst. 3 damage to any target, tap up to 1 creature. Okay. Okay, well, not the best outcome for us there. Bring in our Spell Snares. I think we have a chance, for sure, in this matchup. Our land was a little awkward that game. Good to know they're a little more aggro-leaning. Burn, top end, sort of. Burst Lightnings, and whatever that new card was called. Bring in the Spell Snares. Let's go down the Maelstrom Pulses here, I think. We don't really need our like super big top end stuff to win. The goal in this game, I think, is to stick an Outcaster Greenblade and just have that basically single-handedly take over the game. I think Vicious Rivalry looks okay. Maybe we just want Ceases to be able to manage. Presumably they're on Eddie Mert Crab. It's so hard to tell these days. There's also Ghost Vacuum. Ghost Vacuum helps us trigger crimes every turn with Free Strider Lookout. Keeps their graveyard pretty empty. Doesn't really do anything in the case where they're just like on Slickshot Show-Offs and Storm Chaser's Talents, though. Maybe we go Ghost Vacuum in the third Vicious Rivalry. Try it like that. I think we have a chance. For sure, for sure. Let's just keep better mana this time. This looks pretty good. On the play. Freestrider Lookout having reach for their Slickshot show-offs is a pretty big deal. Lead on a Golgari. They have Otter. We have Deserts. It's a tale as old as time, really. I'm going to go for a Lookout here, I guess. It is a little unfortunate. With a Green Blade on top's not bad. No interaction for them. It's a little unfortunate that they're now playing, or at least this list is playing a card that deals with my Freestrider Lookouts pretty efficiently in their new, like, 2 mana, 3 damage spell. Vibrant Outburst. Yeah, a little unfortunate. Previously, Izzet Prowess lists didn't play any, like, 2 mana, 3 damage cards. Like, they would have Seers in the sideboard, maybe, to be able to interact with my creatures, but they never lined up super, super well. Let's just try to go big here. Cross our fingers that they don't have any sort of meaningful way to deal with the Lookout this turn. It is kind of disgusting how it's just like, ult your face and tap your blocker in one card. They boomerang basics. They pick up their Storm Chaser's talent. They bounce my Lookout. And they kill me? Okay. Izzet Prowess looking pretty terrifying. I don't like the looks of that. Slickshot Show Off. Hell of a card. On to the next one. On the play. Match number 3. Keep this hand. Decent enough. Lead on a Cottage here. Typically, I think better to lead on the Cottages over the Deserts in case you draw, like, Freestrider Lookouts. It depends, but do we want to leave up Bitter Triumph mana? Could just Bitter Triumph the Beavers to keep them off of, like, fast Kaito. Might as well play the Blooming Marsh. Doesn't super matter, probably, if our Green Blades enter slightly smaller. Double black from my opponent. Hits me for 1. Passes. Lush Oasis. Alright, well, let's start this. Pretty shrimpy Green Blades, but that's not the end of the world. I have 2 tapped Deserts in hand, so I think I'm going to opt to grab a Conduit Pylons here. See if my opponent has any new Strixhaven cards in their list. They're a little stun locked. Grab a Conduit Pylons. Pass it back. It looks like they might go to kill my Green Blade here. Nope. They decide they don't care about this. Well, you're gonna care about it eventually, I think. Perhaps not right now. Really, the Green Blade's biggest strength is its consistency. Doesn't take a whole lot of effort for it to eventually get big, and it draws you a land when it enters, right? Run to a Withering Curse. Interesting. Let's just play the Conduit Pylons here. Quieting Hex on top. I think I'm going to skip on that for now. Let's just go ahead and Bitter Triumph the Revenant. Discard a Festering Gulch here. We're going to have pretty much all the lands we could ever want with this backup Green Blade in hand as well. Keep our life total high here. 4th land for my opponent. No way to gain life in hand to trigger the full board wipe if we need it, but if they have more, like, Deep Cavern Bats or more Dream Beavers or what have you, just being able to do -2/-2 to everything is pretty good. Strategic Betrayal. Okay. Let's go Green Blade and then grab another Conduit Pylons, I suppose. Try to use this opportunity to surveil into some real action. Hold up this Bitter Triumph. Skip on a Lush Oasis, pass it back here. Opponent goes up to 5 mana. See what they're on. It's impossible to tell. They renew onto the 1/1 Dreambeavers, giving it a flying counter, death touch counter, and lifelink counter. So you now successfully have a flying death toucher. Okay. We draw into a Requiting Hex. Guess I'll just go for that. Seems fine to me. I guess in activating the Karsi Revenant's renew ability, they've kind of forced me to do that, but that, you know, they don't really have anything else going on, and now our Green Blade has successfully grown into a pretty real threat. Pretty soon we'll be able to fire up the Restless Cottage here. Burdock Core, I see. I see what's happening here. You're playing Unholy Annex Demons. Maelstrom Pulse. That is a good draw. I think I'm just going to go for the Restless Cottage here. Try to threaten to kill them over the course of a couple turns. They could have, like, Shoot the Sheriff in hand, which is why they haven't dealt with the Green Blade. They might Shoot the Sheriff my Restless Cottage here. No. Just exile your creature, I guess. I'm not really sure. Neither is particularly relevant, probably. Requiting Hex. Okay. Or Requiting Hex. Requiting Hex onto the cottage, but they let me get a food token. Which could be a real mistake. Another Dreambeavers. Yeah, I don't really get it in this deck. Don't you want, like, much better top decks? Does the 1 mana 1/1 flyer really matter that much in this list, you know? If you're eventually just going to get, like, you're just trying to win by having Furdot Core and Unholy Annex on the field, you know? They fire up the Furdot Core, they're going to hit me for 4. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this. That's probably not true, but it doesn't happen too often. Vicious Rivalry. It's the Furdot Core, interestingly enough. I think I'm just going to Maelstrom Pulse it, though. Swing for 4. Do they chump? It's kind of the question. They do decide to chump. Keep you off the core here. It could matter. It could matter eventually. At the very least, it keeps them from immediately being able to drain me with an Unholy Annex if they draw one. Strategic Betrayal, RIP in Peace. Back to me. I probably should have sacked the food, but I also... Actually, it's probably better not to. Oh, yeah, one thing I didn't really think about, as far as, like, the life gain element of Withering Curse goes, is our Restless Cottages make food tokens, right? So once you get a food token online, you can be really flexible with the Withering Curse and actually be able to consistently wipe the board if need be. I guess I just kill this now. I'm gonna opt to pay the life. Back to me. Draw a Soured Springs. Fire up the cottage. See if they have any more instant speed interaction. Seems like yes. There's a Shoot the Sheriff. Good to know they're on Shoot the Sheriff. Let's hold on to this, onto the Soured Springs in case we draw a guy. Super Shredder. Free Shredder lookout is the card I'm looking for there. Super Shredder. Karsi Revenant, Renew. I think I'm just going to give all creatures -2/-2 until end of turn. Draw a forest. Is this good? Okay. Hit you with the Sour Springs. Pass it back. Actually, I probably should have played the forest. Kind of mindlessly, but probably won't matter too much. Bloodletter of Aclazotz. Let's wait on the food again. I do have to kill this. Sucks a little bit. Oh, okay. Yeah, completely forgot I was going to destroy my food token. That's a big mistake. Completely forgot I was going to destroy my food token. Oops. Another Bloodletter. We draw into a Bitter Triumph. Okay. Discard the desert here. I have a lot of really good top decks. It's just a string of not so good top decks happening here. Happy to find an answer for the demon. Just going toe-to-toe. If my opponent draws into an Unholy Annex, they're looking pretty good, yeah. Looking pretty good. We draw into a Meringue River Regent. It's probably better to coil and catch here, right? Because playing the River Regent lets me bounce the Unholy Annex, and that's fine. But if they have removal for it, then we're kind of back to where we started. My best draw really is something like Esper Origins that I can discard and keep the other two cards. There's an Esper Origins that I can discard. Keep the other two cards. Discard another Esper Origins. Try to just chain these together. Do I keep the Bitter Triumph around? I think so. Let's hold on to the Soured Springs to discard to the Bitter Triumph. I don't get to draw this off of the Esper Modwin, but that's okay. They shoot the Sheriff. Pass it back. Been a very, very grindy game. They make a little demon token. Let's go for Esper Origins here first. Double Free Strider Lookout. I think I'll take the first one. So I get to go Free Strider Lookout, ping them with a desert. My goal here is to try to hit my last Restless Cottage, basically. Although, if I play the desert, how important is this Withering Curse, is the question. Probably not that important, right? I think I'll just plan to discard that. Do a Surveil with the Conduit Pylons here. Greenblade on top. That's a pretty big deal. So I'm just going to kill the demon right now. I don't want to trigger the crime. I want to draw into this Greenblade, I think. Kill the demon. Use all my resources. Show them I've got nothing. Could just kill them next turn if they don't have literally anything here. They'll take 2 damage and die to my stuff. Give up the Esper Modwin. Another Strategic Betrayal. Okay. They draw, they take 2. Play Greenblade. It is an 8/9. Let's go for... I think I actually just grab a Sandstorm Verge here. So now that they can't chump my Greenblade for the win, they have to find actual removal. Kill you? Okay. Could have gone either way. Could have gone either way. Eventually we hit the big Greenblade. One tap him. Let's see. What do we want in this matchup? The Withering Curses don't seem that important here. The Vicious Rivalry seem pretty flexible. At the very least, being able to just kill the Bloodletters. Even if it costs us 4 life, I think it's kind of important having that option. Surak also probably decent, just increasing our total sort of threat count. Requiting Hexes, maybe not that important here. It does kill the demons, but I think we can do better than Requiting Hex. Cease Desist is pretty good here, actually, though. If they have like an Unholy Annex Furdot core board, being able to destroy all artifacts and enchantments, I think is pretty relevant. Good Deceit matchup, perhaps, as well. Unagi. Do we care about Spell Snares? It hits their Strategic Betrayals and Bitter Triumphs. Maybe they bring in, like, Torpor Orb from the sideboard. I think we do want the Disdainful Strokes, though. Well, maybe not. It only hits the Bloodletters. Or if they cast the, like, Ritual Chamber side of Unholy Annex. A lot to think about. Maybe we go down the Witherbloom Charms. I'm not sure that this hits anything. And then cut a land on the draw. We're basically saying, okay, do anything you want to us in the first 3 turns of the game, but eventually our top decks are just going to be better than whatever you have. And cross our fingers that they don't somehow have like an aggro switch up that we have to care about. Match 3, game 2, on the draw. Pretty good opener. Assuming they don't do anything super crazy here in the first few turns. Duress gets to take Oko the Ringleader. RIP, these ripping abs. Big, beautiful abs from my boy. Draw into a land. Not the worst hit. Eventually going to be able to play all of our stuff, which is pretty nice. Super Shredder. Yeah, okay, maybe that is something we do have to be a little concerned about. I don't know how often it's actually going to be. It doesn't really seem like they're enabling this other than just by like killing my stuff. And I don't think I really care about that. Like it's hitting me for 1. Who cares, you know? Go for our Green Blade. Pretty big boy. Or lass. Or non-binary pal. My big friend, Big Green Blade here. Grab a Conduit Pylons. It could be anyone under the mask. That's the point. It could be anyone. It could be you. Doesn't die to shoot the Sheriff. That's a huge deal. That's a huge deal here in this matchup. Strategic Betrayal, sure. Continues to look decent. Super Shredder, just a 2/2. I'm not super scared about that. For a Restless Cottage. I think I'm eventually just going to cast this Spinewood's Armadillo, so probably not going to cycle it. I have enough lands in hand, I think. Maybe gaining the 3 life will be relevant eventually. Another Furdot core on the field. Okay. Unholy Annex. Yikes. At least I have the Unagi in hand, though. So when they go to draw, we go to draw, you know? And that's a pretty big deal. I am kind of losing on life total right now, though. Pass it back. See if they fire up a Furdot core and try to get frisky or make a demon here. Imagine I draw into a Cease Desist for all the believers out there, the Cease Desist believers out there. Would be pretty incredible. I get to block this Furdot core, which is a pretty big deal here. They knew about this Unagi. They knew about it. It was in their hand. Like, they saw my hand. I don't know why they're making this attack. It has Ward 4. Waterbend 4, which is basically Ward 4 in this situation. Trigger the Super Shredder. Gives up a Furdot core for free. They're going to want that one back, I think. Draw 2 cards here. Ooh, okay. Surak, Bitter Triumph. Could fire up the Bonnie Paul. Start swinging in. I actually think that's probably okay. The benefit of Bonnie is it is 2 bodies. The problem is if they go like remove Bonnie and play Bloodletter of Aclazotz, I'm dead. Because Super Shredder has Menace if I attack also. Maybe I just play the Bonnie and pass. Or maybe I play the Surak, kill the Super Shredder and just start hitting them. I could just play the Surak, hold up the cycle on the Spinewoods Armadillo / Bitter Triumph. Oh, that's actually probably better than anything else. Gain a little life here. Do a little looking ahead. A nice little free draw. I love the free draw into the Esper Origins off of Conduit Pylons. It feels incredible every time. It feels incredible every time. Oko on top. I think Oko's a pretty good draw, actually. There's also another Bitter Triumph. Maybe we just want to draw the Bitter Triumph. I don't know what I'm doing. My bad, y'all. For some reason, in my head, I was like, I'm just doing the first part. I'm not going to actually draw this card. Don't know why I thought that. Okay. I think I just have to kill this Super Shredder eventually anyway. Hit them. They're not going to fire up the Furdot Core. If all of their turn is fire up the Furdot Core and hit me, I think that's okay. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't put Oko on top. That was a brain fart. Sorry, folks. Six mana available, 7 mana with the Furdot Core. Nagi drawing me extra cards every turn. Our Unholy Annex. Best draw is probably still just a desist to clean up their board. Shoot the Sheriff. On the Unagi. Okay. RIP in peace. Okay. Could be worse. Let's just go for Bonnie here. Leave that up on the screen for those that don't know. Makes an Ox and draws cards every turn. Can also put lands from our graveyard into play for some reason. I don't know. Makes a big demon. Dream Beavers. Yeah, I think I'm eventually just going to have to cycle this for life. But that's okay. I think I'm going to go Bitter Triumph the Demon. Maybe I have to hold the Bitter Triumph. Bonnie Paul does have reach, so it can trade with the Demon here. I'm really worried about Bloodletter of Aclazotz eventually. Is the way they actually just speed up everything. Kill off Bonnie. RIP. So we go Bitter Triumph on the Demon. Discard Surak. Play the Oko. I did a crime this turn, so I'm going to roll it up. Drawn to another Bitter Triumph is pretty good, actually. Play the Conduit Pylons. I can either Bitter Triumph or cycle the Armadillo next turn. I don't want to make Oko a copy of Bo, because unfortunately Bo is legendary. It would be nice if Oko said, except it's not legendary, right? I'm feeling pretty okay here. One cool thing about Oko's like copy ability is it, essentially, to say it gives haste is not the right way to put it, but like if I play this Armadillo, I can copy the Armadillo and swing with a 7/7 kind of out of nowhere. It's a little unexpected for our opponents, I think. Fires up the Furdot Core. They're just trying to seal the deal here. So if I cycle, I go to 9, and then I take 5 plus another 2. I mean, they know I have this Armadillo, right? And this is a little better than going for the Bitter Triumph, I think. Actually, maybe the Bitter Triumph is better, because it means they'll take 2 off the Unholy Annex. go to 11, and then die to me firing up the Restless Cottage. And then I've dealt with the Furdot core at the same time. I think that's okay. That way, if they have removal for bow, I'm not sort of just like dead in the water in the following turns, rather than like if I cycle and they remove bow. I guess I still have Bitter Triumph in that case. I'm not sure that it really matters. Two cards in hand. Kind of seems like they drew something instant, an instant speed piece of interaction here. Removal for bow. Okay. Bitter Triumph. Interesting. So we make an elk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We make an elk. We swing with Restless Cottage plus Elko. We can't copy the Restless Cottage because it'll just be a land. Oko will just turn into a land. It won't be activated. Make a food, kind of a big deal here. Pass it back. Hold up the Bitter Triumph. I mean, we might have a window to fire it off if we need to, like if they play Bloodletter. We'd go to 2 and then take 1 from the Beavers here. Strategic Betrayal. Kills off my elk, but not a huge deal. I think they're pretty donezo. They can hold back the Beavers to block, but they're taking another 2 off of their Unholy Annex here. Go ahead and sack the food. Two cards in hand. Maybe drew into another piece of instant speed interaction, but I don't think it matters. Unless they kill Oko at exactly right now. They kill Oko and force me to Bitter Triumph the Dream Beavers, so I can actually hit them with the Restless Cottage. Okay, they kill the Oko. Discard this land, I guess. Go for the throat. Let's do it. Fire up the cottage. Hitcha. Alright, great. 2-1. Got absolutely ranched by Izzet Prowess last match, but back to 2-1. Positive. Let's see if we can close out. Get the next 2 matches here. Match 4. On the draw. It has potential to be really good. Like if we draw into a green source, or preferably a Blooming Marsh or a Festering Gulch. I'm going to keep it. It's okay. It's not great. Breeding Pool from our opponent. Withering Curse could be a good Withering Curse matchup. Well, we do draw into a green source here. Would have been nicer to be a green-black source, perhaps, but I'm not going to complain too much. Breeding Pool Steam Vents. Okay. Ooh, been a while since we've played against some Temur Battlecrier combo. Doesn't come up too often. Let's hold up this Bitter Triumph here. Keep them from drawing a bunch of cards off of this Trailblazer. Magmatic Hellkite. Pretty good. I think I can pay life here. Magmatic Hellkite, huh? I think I have to grab a Swamp. Probably makes the most sense. Free Strider Lookout. Just plan to kind of pass this turn. I can go for the Vicious Rivalry next turn and wipe their board, depending on what they choose to invest here. Badgermole Cub. Okay. Lava Leaper. What is this? Whenever a player taps a basic land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land could produce. They gave me a basic. I'm confused. So that lets me tap that for double black and play this Restless Cottage tapped, which is kind of nice. Okay, let's Vicious Rivalry for 4. I guess I'm just dead to another Lava Leaper. But I'm also just dead to their board as it is. So might as well go for the board wipe here. Cross our fingers they don't have another land plus Lava Leaper. Cute art though. Badgermole Cub gets to hit me for 1. If they would like to. They would like to. 1, 2, 5 mana. Yeah, I guess for me it's the Withering Curse. Keep them off of extra mana here. Play the Blooming Marsh, and then next turn I can play 2 3-drops. Llanowar Elves, fine. Witherbloom Charm. It's not bad. Let's just go for double 3-drops here, I think. Greenblade on top. Greenblade on top is a little awkward. I think I just go for double 3-drops, though. Greenblade on top, be damned. Let's grab another Conduit Pylon. Actually, let's grab a Crime Land. Seems okay. 3-Strider Lookout. Pass it back. We have good blockers. I mean, if they manage to have a Burst Lightning. Okay, well, this is basically Burst Lightning. Land into Dragonhawk, Fate's Tempest. Gets me with that last little bit of damage. Man, maybe I should have held up the Witherbloom Charm, actually. Gain 5 life in that position. Yeah, I should have... A better player, I think, probably would have recognized, like, hey, they probably have Dragonhawk in their deck. I don't play against Temur Battlecrier combo too often. Definitely something to be aware of, though. Just the fact that they do typically play Dragonhawk as sort of their top end, like, consistent combo piece, really. Yeah, that doesn't feel great. I think I could have won that game despite the Dragonhawk if I just gained 5 life, or even just like played one of the creatures and passed, and then used Witherbloom Charm to gain the life in response to the Dragonhawk trigger. Maelstrom Pulse, you know, I could have also in that scenario I get to keep the Outcaster Greenblade on top of my deck. Which is pretty nice. Yeah, I think I, in retrospect, could have thought a little more ahead as far as like me being at 2 and how they could pull out the game there, but we'll be prepared for it in games 2 and 3 here. What do we want to bring in? What do we want to take out? Requiting Hex has potential. I think Vicious Rivalry. We're all in on the Vicious Rivalries here. Deceit looks pretty decent. Disdainful Stroke, probably not. I think it's something like this. Maybe there's an argument for the Spell Snares. I don't actually know how many 2-drops they're likely to have. It's probably just the Badgermole Cubs, right? They could also bring in like Seers, maybe. Let's go down Oko. Let's go down Witherbloom Charm. Let's go down. Maybe we just cut both of the Witherbloom Charms. They're like a great main deck card, but when we have a little more, like a better idea of what we're up against, maybe they're not the best interaction. A lot of non 2-drops to care about in this matchup too. On the play. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's lead on a cottage here. Llanowar Elves. Let's just go ahead and manage the elves here. Keep them from going too crazy. Pass it back. Lumbering World Wagon. Pretty good. Fortunately for us, Vicious Rivalry hits the wagon, which is kind of big game here. Let's just go ahead and Maelstrom Pulse the wagon, though. Keep them from being able to get that first swing in. I think it's kind of important. If they just, like, run out a Dragonhawk here, I'm feeling pretty bad. Temur Battlecrier. Quantum Riddler. Warps a Riddler. This is going to be a tough matchup, because they have actually, like, a lot of 2-for-1, like, built-in 2-for-1 creatures. I think I just have to let them untap with this Temur Battlecrier, unfortunately. I think if I rip this Vicious Rivalry, they're just like, okay, well, I'm going to 2-for-1 you into Oblivion. I think I have to get some kind of, like, X for 1 off of this Vicious Rivalry to actually get ahead in this game. Splatter Technique to draw 4. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think I would swing in if I were them. I'm not going to block with the Restless Cottage. That would be pretty crazy. Another Vicious Rivalry. Maybe I'm supposed to go for it. I don't know. Magmatic Hellkite. Ooh, okay. Maybe this isn't Day of Judgment. Maybe the life, like having to pay 4 life here is going to matter kind of a lot. That's what we're here for, though. We're learning. We're testing. I kind of have a feeling their hand is just like Lava Leaper plus some other bullshit, and they just kill me next turn. Spell Pierce? Oh, that feels incredibly bad. That feels incredibly bad. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, 2-2. Could pull out the 3-2. Not prepared for that matchup whatsoever. Not prepared for that matchup whatsoever. I think we stand a pretty good chance generally if we actually curve out with creatures in that matchup. Like our Outcaster Green Blades can eventually just like be bigger than everything they have going on. Just ending up with a lot of like reactive hands, and I think reactive isn't always the best thing in that Temur Battlecrier matchup, especially if they're on Riddlers and like Esper Origins and stuff. Much less combo oriented than like the I can't remember the red XX spell combo piece. Do we keep this? I think it's okay. 2 lands, but one of them surveils. Good little bit of removal here. Virulent Emissary for our final match. Someone out here playing, hopefully, green-white life gain. I'd love to see that. A direction I'm interested in exploring in a future video for sure. Maybe just mono-green cards I own. Opponent chillin'. Llanowar Elves. Oh, maybe it's just Elves. I think I can beat Elves. Go for a Conduit Pylons. Gotta hit a land here. We do. Let's just go ahead and kill the Llanowar Elves. Pass it back. Keep them off of some mana. Happy about this land drop. Keeps us in the game. Well, we have a lot of board wipes in the deck here. I was not impressed with our new Golgari board wipe last game, though. Having to pay the life there, it's a pretty real cost. Maybe we need more life gain to counteract that real cost, and that would actually make our Witherbloom Charms better. Or maybe we just need more, like, real removal, you know? I cut Desert Stews for the Witherbloom Charms. Desert Stew is a piece of removal that, like, gives a creature -2/-2, and an additional -1/-1 for each desert you control. So it's just another sort of flexible piece that hits big creatures eventually, right? The trade-off being, like, we just are very reliant on our Bitter Triumphs now to answer anything that's bigger than a 2-drop, which is not necessarily the best place to be. Bitter Triumphs and our board wipes, right? And so if we're like 1-for-1ing with our life cost like board wipe, I think we eventually just like our opponent sticks a creature and we just die to it because we're going to be at such a low life total. Drawn to another Festering Gulch. That's pretty good, actually. They play an Earth Crystal. Green spells cost 1 less. If 1 or more 1/1 counters would be put on a creature, put twice that many 1/1 counters on that creature instead. Distribute 2 1/1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. Seems good with Earthbend. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone cast this card. Grab a Sour Springs. Get all of our colors online. 5/6 Green Blade. In the face of a 1/1 Death Toucher, but we have removal for it. Rogue's Passage on the field also, interestingly enough. Well, so far it's been a very back and forth of just like ranching our opponents in some matchups and getting ranched in some matchups. I think we can be good in the Izzet Prowess matchup for sure. We have a lot of tools to deal with their creatures, but at the end of the day, they just have the best tools, I think, right now in the format to put you from 20 to 0 in like the shortest amount of time possible, even through interaction. And at the end of the day, the better proactive plan is typically going to be a more consistent contender in a meta than like a strong reactive plan, which we have a pretty decent reactive plan, but just the fact that they get to plot Slickshot Show Off makes it so much harder to deal with. Like if they really want to, they can just choose to keep it in exile forever and eventually combo off with it essentially when they have protection. Michelangelo on the field. I think I'm just going to hex the Emissary here. And start hitting them. Might as well make an Elk, I think. I can copy my Green Blade. And yeah, they probably get to kill Oko next turn, but with the River Regent in hand, eventually just bouncing their board, I think if I start beats now, they're pretty likely to be dead in the next couple turns. And they kind of have to invest like an Earth Crystal activation probably to actually be able to kill Oko, which this costs 6 to activate. This card is not good. They chump with Michelangelo. Okay. This costs 6 to activate and it just puts 4 counters on your stuff? I don't know. Garrick's Uprising. Enters if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample. Okay. Whenever a creature you control with power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. Hit you with the Festering Gulch. Hit you with a Bitter Triumph. Make an Elk. Copy the Green Blade. Put you to a cool 5. Pass it back. Opponent's dead here. Well, I have a feeling we're going to be able to take this match. Not the best data for our list. Not the best data. I kind of wish I could have those losses back, you know? I don't feel like bad that I lost, right? Sometimes you just lose a match of Magic, but I think I just wish that like Vicious Rivalry looked better in those matches and that we just didn't like die on like turn 4 against Izzet Prowess the way we did. It is what it is. Probably going to end this 3-2. Do I even need to bring anything in? I think this like main deck is pretty solid, to be honest with you. Maybe we just need better tools in the sideboard to manage like the Prowess matchup, especially if it becomes even more of a menace with the inclusion of the new cards from Strixhaven. I'm curious to see how all of that plays out because they seem to have gotten some very strong additions, and it seems to be another one of those situations that we've experienced in Standard for the past year or so now where, oh, Izzet has all the best cards right now, and it's just like total dominance, question mark? And is Slickshot Show Off the thing that's like, you know, keeping all of that together? Not that every Izzet list has Slickshot Show Off in it, but it's definitely the most just like uninteractive, like in your face 20-0 sort of combo variant that you can be doing in Izzet right now. And it is also the one that got probably arguably the best tools from Strixhaven. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how it turns out. I'm not calling for bans or anything. Obviously, it's like the set just came out, but it is interesting, and maybe something to keep an eye on. I don't know. It's interesting. Always a scary archetype, and Slickshot Show Off, I mean, quietly has been a very, very strong card in Standard for a long time now. Corey Steelcutter days. Mono Red days, so on and so forth. Hit you with the Gulch. Feeling like I'm probably going to win this one. Leave a comment, by the way, if you have any suggestions for what you want me to look into, as far as Strixhaven goes. I'm open ears. I may not follow up on it. But if you have suggestions for certain synergies or so on and so forth, I'm always happy to hear them out. Join the Discord if you're interested in discussing new Strixhaven cards. Great place to do that. Or if you'd like to make a donation to see a specific card built around in a future video, guaranteed. Come talk to me in the Discord. Great place to pick my brain, pick your brain. We can come up with something cool that we both think is a cool idea and run it. Play Conduit Pylons here. Keep on a Bitter Triumph for now. I guess I'll just rip the Esper Origins. Witherbloom Charm kills the Innkeeper's Talent pretty cleanly here. Probably worth drawing that. Mossborn Hydra. Okay. With an Evolving Wilds. Tracks the Evolving Wilds. It big. Surely it big. Okay. Well, I guess I just have to Bitter Triumph this. I was kind of hoping I would get to cast this Esper Origins and pick up this Festering Gulch next turn. Or this turn, but I do have to deal with the Hydra. I pre-ordered a bunch of Strixhaven for the first time ever in my life, by the way. I don't know if anyone else out there like regularly pre-orders cards. I don't. I am just going to rip this Withering Curse, try to kill the Hydra here. Okay, it works. Great. Specifically, I pre-ordered a playset of the Withering Curse for $5 each. Hopefully that will go down in history as a good move. Who knows, right? I mean, it has potential, I think, to be a pretty good card. It's very efficient. If you do the thing, I think it's good, right? I don't know. I pre-ordered a couple Delian Phase and just cards I'm gonna need eventually. Basically, it was kind of the idea. Plus, I also got some Blex and some Arc of Hungers, just a couple cheap pet cards that I'm vaguely interested in. I won't go into too many specifics about how much I spent, but I don't think it was a crazy amount. $5 each for the Withering Curses, though. We'll see if that ends up being a good move in retrospect. Loot Exuberant Explorer. I'm going to cycle the Armadillo here. Grab an untapped land and flashback this Esper Origins. I could start activating Loot's ability to get creatures from the top 6, but I don't think I super duper care about that at this point. Get a little Surveil going. Let's skip on a land here. Flashback the Esper Origins. I kind of thought for a minute in the beginning that I was playing against like mono green elves, but suppose that is not the case. We'll take this land and leave the Vicious Rivalry on top. I kind of wish they fully committed on this card, by the way. Wizards of the Coast, if you're listening. Make this just big Pernicious Deed. Make this hit enchantments. If it hit enchantments, it would like actually be such a good, clean answer to everything going on in Standard right now. Would it be too good? Probably not, because you stapled a big life total cost onto it. But if it actually cleaned up Stormchaser's talents and like Artist's talents and stuff like that, Innkeeper's talents, so on and so forth, I think we'd actually be like, we'd be kind of in the money here, as far as like a nice, good, flexible card. Maybe it ends up in the sideboard of every green-black deck ever at that point. Just the fact that it like hits everything, were that to be the case, but I think you could have done it. Wizards of the Coast. Let's continue to skip on these lands. I think I'm just going to flashback this other Esper Origins. Put another Esper Origins in the graveyard. Love to see that. Gamble a little. Reveal a Blooming Marsh. Okay. That's fine. Let's just kill off this Witherbloom kill off the Innkeeper's talent. I guess I can wait. See if they invest mana into leveling it up. $28 health. 28 life, rather. We call that life in the Magic the Gathering business. Roamer's Routine in the graveyard. Mono green cards I own. Well, it's been fun, folks. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you watching. Opponent fires up loot, Exuberant Explorer. See what they hit. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Reveal a creature card. I guess they could, like, Craterhoof me right now. I wouldn't die to it. What's the scariest thing they could put on the field? Progenitus? And then I have to pay 10 life to kill it? Ouroboros. Alright. Let's just go ahead and kill off this Innkeeper's talent here. Plan to wipe the board next turn, probably. Wipe the Void next turn. Trigger the Moduin. What's better, hitting them for 6 now, or casting the Vicious Rivalry and then untapping with a new Esper Moduin? I guess I might as well just try to hit them now. Right? I guess it doesn't super matter. I'm just going to try to get them while the getting's good. Try to hit them for 6 here. They do take it. Play a Lush Oasis. Wipe the board. I ask it back. Loot Exuberant Explorer. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't like this card. I've tried to cast it. I've tried to make it work in the past. Ice Tail Explorer is just basically 1,000 times better for 1 extra mana. Maybe sometimes you activate this and it's relevant. Maybe there are decks where it's like, okay, you can play 1 loot and it looks okay. But I don't think I'd want... I don't know. It seems like they're on some amount. Not more than 1 at the very least, right? Let's just skip on both of these. Try to high roll into like a Outcaster Greenblade or something. Swamp. Okay. Question is, do I actually just kill the loot here, though? I think so. If they had an Ouroboros, they would have probably played an Ouroboros, you know what I mean? And this could eventually be an Ouroboros. Let's just do that. Looks like they have something. Snakeskin Veil? 2 mana Snakeskin Veil? Okay. 2 mana Snakeskin Veil. Virulent Emissary. Wait, they're not activating loot? Dog, you gotta spend this turn activating loot. There's no way that's not better than Virulent Emissary. Shout out to Virulent Emissary, though. I think I like this card. I think it's fun. I think it's pretty good, too. Mostly, I think it's fun. Harmonize the roamer's routine. There's no way this is better than firing up the loot ability. There's not a shot in hell. Bonnie Paul. Holy shit. It's Bonnie. And I get to swing with the Restless Cottage? Crazy. And I have lands in the graveyard? Go, go, go. Let's see. Exile your Evolving Wilds, I guess. Maybe they're on Ice Tills. Grab us Howard Springs. The pings are adding up. I've dealt a total of 5 ping damage this game. That ain't bad. Got to assume they're double blocking here, rather blocking and blocking, something like that. Looks like they are blocking and blocking. Electing to kill off the Esper Modwin. Kind of makes sense. Hit you with the Gulch. Pass it back. Could have played a Swamp and held up the Requiting Hex. I don't think it really matters. Rampaging Baloths. Holy shit. With the Forest? Yo, Sapling Nursery never looked so good. Vicious Rivalry, huh? Yeah, okay. Play a Swamp. 12-12 Bow. I can Vicious Rivalry. X equals 3. Kill everything except the Baloths and Bonnie and swing in. Kind of force them to go 1-for-1 here. And take 5 because I'm going to be bringing in a ping land. I also just have this Requiring Hex. Just Hex a Chocobo. Swing out. I guess I don't even really have to, like... I actually think I like this board wipe line. Because if they don't block Bonnie... Sorry, X equals 3. If they don't block Bonnie... then they're like dead to me, like bringing in more ping deserts in the future anyway. So they kind of have to block Bonnie, which means they don't have any way to recover. Draw into a Witherbloom Charm. That's not bad. We can cycle the food away, basically. They have to block Bonnie, but that, like... Yeah, this is not correct. Putting themselves at 1 when I've demonstrated that I have all of these like ping deserts anyway, and still have 1 in the graveyard to be able to just swing with Bonnie, bring back the desert and kill them. Unless they have some kind of crazy life gain situation. They fight my Bonnie. RIP in peace, Rampaging Baloths. I play a desert for the kill to end the video. GG's, Pocket Sand. Shout out to my friends in the Discord. Appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. 3-2 overall. Folks. Sultai Deserts. We still got it, but, you know, in the same way... Definitely a little scared of Izzet Prowess here. So, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how all that goes. Appreciate you watching. If you like this video, I'll be posting standard content a couple times a week, few times a week, streaming on Fridays, 2 p.m. Eastern. I don't know. I'll probably bump up my pace a little bit with a new set. You know what I mean? Like maybe it'll be 3 or 4 times a week. But got a lot of interesting cards to explore out there. Appreciate you watching. Hope to catch you on the next one. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.